So first of all, hello.
Hello.
My name's Patrick, as you know. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks to Kenichi, we had some English warm-up. Now it's the real deal. Okay. So I understand, it seems like most of you can speak. Whoops. It's okay. Sneak preview. I understand most of you can speak English. It sounds like pretty well, but I will try to speak reasonably slowly and clearly, just so everyone can understand. If I'm going too slow and it's boring, please tell me, hurry up! You fool! No problem, no problem. Okay, so, yeah, I don't want to take up too much time. So basically what we're going to do here is a kind of demonstration of the kind of practice we might do in the real lesson. We'll probably have some different activities as well. But basically we have here some videos showing sections of a tour through the Sensoji temple area. I think as a demonstration, I will first of all pretend to be a tour guide, just as a demonstration of how we might begin a tour, maybe explain something about Kaminarimon. After that, I will ask for some volunteers, and hopefully we'll have time for maybe 3 volunteers. We'll see how much time we have. I would like each volunteer to then give a guide for the next section of the video. And after their guide, their brief explanation, I will pretend to be a tourist, a member of the tour, and I might ask lots of questions about details or about anything, and see how you go. So I think we will have a volunteer, then question time, a volunteer, question time, and so on. When it's time for me to ask questions, I will ask the person giving the explanation, but also I will ask everyone. So we all have a chance to pretend to be the tour guide. And then if we have time afterwards, we might do a little feedback, take some questions from you. Before we begin, this is not only a lesson, it's a demo of a lesson. So of course, please relax and please make a lot of English mistakes. Mistakes are good because that's how you learn, and also it gives me something to do. So, thank you very much. Before we begin, do we all understand? Okay? Okay, alright, so, no problem. Alright, so, first of all, I'll give a demo of a kind of brief explanation of a section of the video. So I think we're going to do, I think you have a list here. We're going to do Kaminarimon, then Nakamisedori. We'll see the history of Sensoji in pictures. We'll look at the 5-story pagoda. We'll look at Hozomon, and then some other features of the Sensoji temple area, as well as the main building, and if we have time to get to the Asakusa Shrine. But we'll see how we go for time. Okay, so, first of all, I will pretend to be a tour guide. Alright, welcome to Sensoji. This is the famous Kaminarimon. Does anyone know the meaning of Kaminarimon? Yes, that's right. It means Thunder Gate. Thunder Gate. This is called the Thunder Gate because inside the gate you can see statues, and these statues are the gods of thunder and lightning. And so that's why we call it the Thunder Gate. Here you can see the god of thunder. We know he's the god of thunder because, as you can see, he's surrounded by Japanese drums. So we imagine he's in the sky beating his drums whenever there is a thunderstorm. Okay, so Kaminarimon, Thunder Gate, is really a nickname for this gate, but it's the most famous name. The names of the gods are Raijin, the thunder god, and Fuji, the wind god. And so the proper name for this gate is Furaijinmon. Alright. This is a huge building, as you can see. It's actually only been here since 1963 because all of this area was destroyed during World War II. However, the temple itself was founded in the 7th century, around about the year 628, which makes it the oldest Buddhist temple in Tokyo. It was founded many hundreds of years before Tokyo was an important city. Okay. And it was a member of the Tendai sect of Buddhism, but since the end of World War II, when it was rebuilt, it has been independent. So this temple, Sensoji, belongs to no sect of Buddhism. Alright, and we might stop there. Okay, so who would like to guide me to do a tour guide of Nakamisedori? Would anyone like to try? Any volunteers? Thank you very much. Yes, please. And of course, when a teacher is doing a demo and no one volunteers, it's the worst thing in the world. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so we might go back to the beginning of the video, and whenever you're ready, based on what you know about Nakamisedori, please give us a brief tour. Okay.
Now we are in Nakamisedori shopping street. This is from Kaminayo Gate to the main hall of the Sensoji temple. There are small narrow street, but on both sides there are lots of traditional shops, and you can find souvenir or something that you will see, right? So let's go. And first we have a local sweet shop. This area, one traditional sweet in Edwera, from Edwera. One of them is kaminari okoshi, or like a cracker, sweet cracker. And Shamsu can take some samples. So, right?
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Good. Very nice. Okay. I think, considering that was spur of the moment, with no preparation, that was really well done. Thank you so much. Great job. Of course, because English was not 100% perfect, but that's okay, because we should really be focusing not on absolutely perfect English, but on clear communication. It's the most important thing. People coming and getting a tour here, they know that English is your second language. They don't expect it to be perfect. But we do need to be able to give details, answer questions, and so on. So I'm going to pretend that I'm in the group, and now I'm going to ask some questions. However, I would like anyone to volunteer to answer, just so we all have a chance to practice. You said there were a lot of shops. How many shops are there?
According to some of the books, 89.
89? 89 shops. Wow.
It's very good. It's a good shop.
Okay, I see. I have a question. You said that the Kaminarimon, the Thunder Gate, is the gate, but the temple is over there at the end of the street. So on this street, are we in the temple now? Sure, go ahead.
Right. And kind of a good example of the syncretism between the Buddhism and Shinto.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The Sensoji and Sensoji Temple and Asakusa Shrine.
Sure.
These areas, in general speaking, are a good example of the syncretism.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, are we in the temple now on this shopping street? Are we inside the temple?
Well, I think it is regarded as a precinct of the compound of the temple.
Okay. Okay, right. So we're from. It's strange for there to be shops inside a church. Is this normal? Is this normal in Japan? Are there shops inside the temple?
Yes.
Sure. Okay. Okay.
This road is regarded as approach to the approach to the temple.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's a normal way.
Oh, okay. So do all temples in Japan have shops?
Some major temple has the approach because many people visited the temple, and also some shrines have such an approach.
Oh, really? Okay. I see.
Well, this is really generally speaking opinion, but before the temple, they put some kind of gate or, for example, torii gate. But this is a Buddhist temple, so I think that the Kaminarimon gate is its function as like a torii gate. A torii gate divides the outer world of our everyday world and inner world, which means the God's word,
Right.
and sacred word.
Very
So,
good.
so I don't know much about the Kaminarimon gates, but the gates itself divides the sacred area and the not sacred area.
Good.
So you, Nakami said, Dori is not in the sacred area.
Ah, it's not.
Not.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we're not sure, but that's okay. That's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
We're just improvising here. We'll need to check our facts, I guess, before we begin the tour, but that's really, really good. You used the word sacred, which is great. If we're doing a tour like this, we might often talk about the division between the sacred, where God is, where the gods are, and the secular. That's the word we often use for the everyday world. Secular, in English we often balance, we have the dichotomy between the secular and the sacred. We often use these words as kind of pairs. But that's really good, everyone, so far. At least from our volunteers, that's great. So, yeah, these are the kind of questions you might get thrown at you. But you guys did pretty well, I think. We could look at the 5-story pagoda, or we could look at the history pictures on the road leading towards the temple. Does anyone know anything about those history pictures? Would any volunteers like to try? Yeah? Okay, well we haven't had you yet, so... Right. Well, let's go from the beginning of the pictures. If the pictures skip ahead further than you can keep up with, don't worry, just do it at your own pace.
Okay, I'm going to explain the history of the Asakusa Temple. According to the legend, in the 8th century, two fishermen found a small image Buddha while they were fishing in the Surmila River. They found the image of Buddha, and then two fishermen showed it to the village master, and he found this is an image of Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva is a Kannon-sama in Japanese. And then later, village master turned his house into the Buddhist temple. So it is said that this small temple regarded as the Sensoji temple later. And then during the and then later, famous Buddhist priest came to Sensoji temple from the western part of Japan. I guess it's Nara or Kyoto, ancient capital of Japan. And then that famous priest said that this image Buddha, Bodhisattva, was very sacred. So he prohibited this image Buddha from the let me put it this way. It was so sacred, so ordinary people were not allowed to see the image of Buddha because it is too sacred. So that's one of the reasons. Even now, we cannot see the image of Buddha. We call it the hibutsu, hidden image of Buddha. And then later, another priest came to Sensoji temple, and it is said that he carved image Buddha, identical to the hidden Buddha. And then now, people pray to the image of Buddha.
Okay. Very, very nice. All right, very, very good. So, we already know we can't see that. Question: you said we can't see the Buddha statue from the river. Can the other Buddha statue, the one the monk made, will we see that today?
Not every day, I guess.
Okay. Do you know when we can see it? Does anyone know?
I think we can see it every day. It's at the back of the altar. It's still back of the altar on the
On the altar.
main hall.
Okay.
Yeah, we can see that Mainachi statue.
Okay. Okay. Good. All right. I have another question. Excuse me. I heard that we can see cherry blossoms at this time of year. Do you know a good place to see cherry blossoms? Yeah, okay. So, bear in mind, when you're giving a tour, of course when people come to Japan, it might be their first time to Japan, it might be a very short trip, they're just passing through. Some people will have a big interest in Japan, and you'll be explaining things and they'll be like, yep, I know. And other people, it will be completely new. For example, you were talking about the syncretism between Shinto and Buddhism, and some people don't know what Shintoism is. And but we'll have a chance to talk about that later in the tour, because of course there's a Saksha shrine on the grounds and everything. Keep in mind, people are on the tour because they're interested, but they did not travel to Japan just for this tour. And while your goal, your plan is to give this tour, the people on the tour might have their own plans up here. And they're hoping you can answer all of their questions. And they might ask something that has nothing to do with Sensoji. They're thinking, they've woken up in the morning and they've gone, I've heard it's cherry blossom season. I want to see cherry blossoms in the park. Where can I go? Oh, but I need to get to the tour. I know. I'll ask the tour guide. They will know, because they're a tour guide. So that you might get questions that are completely random. And you have to be prepared with your knowledge, not just of the tour, but your good knowledge of everything that's going on. So someone might suddenly ask, where's a good place to see cherry blossoms? Someone might ask, I'm seeing a lot of people wearing kimono. Do we get to wear kimono? Where can I wear kimono? And you can say, well, maybe, you know, it's not part of this tour, but hopefully you'll be able to say, I can recommend some places, you might have time afterwards, you can go here, usually people do this, etc. So, that was a deliberately strange question, because you might get questions like that sometimes. Okay. Do you think we have time for one more?
Okay.
Okay, let's very quickly, let's just do a short one. Let's imagine we've proceeded into the temple grounds, maybe as you've walked, as you're walking through the Nakamisedori, maybe you've taken the time to explain a little bit about Buddhism and Shintoism and what the difference is in Japan as you're walking. Maybe, it depends, it's your tour, so. But maybe then we get to the hand washing. Again, some people may have done this before, but if some people may have just landed at Narita and come straight there, and they haven't even checked into their hotel yet. This is their first time. Let's see. Is that the? I think that's it. Yeah. So would anyone like to explain the hand washing station? Any volunteers? Anyone at the back? One more? One more? One more person? I'm dying up here, folks. I'm dying. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, I would like to explain about how to wash and clean your hand mouth before and to pray with God. And if you enter the gate, and you will see the face of water. Usually the dragon, and from the dragon mouth, the water comes. Now you will see the big pools of water. And your right hand take the ladle myself, and wash your left hand first. And change the hand and wash another right hand. And change another hand and pour the water on the left hand. And a little bit sip water and not speed, just water out of the mouth. And after that, you will see a little bit water remain in the pot. So just make it vertical, and the water boils down to, I say, purify. Purify this, I don't know, here.
Handles.
Hand, yeah. And just done. And you purify your right hand, left hand, mouth, and also this tool. And upside down, and put the usually it's bamboo.
There's bamboo in this.
Yeah. Yes. So now you can you are prepared to enter the shrine or temple. This is
Yeah. Very, very good. Thank you so much. That was good. We got some good vocabulary, like ladle. A lot of people maybe don't know ladle. That's good. We got purify. Very good. A good vocabulary phrase to know for something like this. People will say, what are they doing? You can explain, you wash your hands and then you wash your mouth because you're going to meet the God. It can take a long time. If you don't have much time, you can just say, it's a kind of purification ritual. It's a purification ritual. And then people go, oh, I see, I see, I see. They don't need to know the details because they go, oh, it's a ritual. I see, I see. So, do you know ritual? Hang on, I'll write up here. Ritual. It's similar to ceremony, but we think of a ceremony being longer. Ritual is like one part of a ceremony. But yeah, so a question someone might ask, in this case, Tomoko has shown us, you need to do this, then you need to do this. someone might ask, excuse me, do we have to do that? What would you say? Yes, you do? Yeah? So, I've been to Asakusa and I've been to Sensoji. Sometimes I don't wash my hands. Yeah. Yeah, no, I didn't forget. But I'm not going to pray to the god. I just want to look around, which I think is okay, right? Or what do you think?
Personally, I think it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's, that ritual, it means in Japan, we always take off our shoes in
Right.
the house.
Right.
And it's kind of custom.
Right.
But it's something strange if I didn't do this for my staff entering the shrine and temple. If it's here, I do.
That's a good answer. The second answer was better than the first answer. First answer, yes you do. You have to. Now this may be true, but of course remember you have to tell the truth, but you also have to be polite. And so you could say, like you said, well of course no one will make you, but in Japan this is the custom. And if we don't do it, it feels a little strange and maybe it's a little impolite. So it's up to you, but especially if you're going to pray, if you're going to approach the temple, it would be polite to do the ritual. And they might go, well, my hands are cold, I don't want to. You can't do anything about it. But of course, that's a good answer. So well done, good job. Very, very nice. Right, it's 11:30, so I need to wrap up. Thank you very much to our 3 brave volunteers. If your English is not as good as their English, don't worry. Don't worry. This is why we have lessons. So, but yeah, thank you to everyone who helped to answer questions. And yeah, basically, we're going to do this kind of exercise in the lesson. It'll be, obviously we'll have more time. We might do some other exercises just to practice our fluency, to practice ways of explaining things. I might give you some vocabulary to help you with, like interpretation, for example, because Yoko, I assume, eventually will do tours involving activities. And of course, in that case, you don't want to be stumbling over your words. A lot of the time, people don't learn words for methods. Simple things like fold along here. Which preposition should I use? Should I say to? Should I say along? Should I say, That kind of thing is simple, but requires practice. Anyway, that's just an example, so thank you very much for listening. Thank you even more for participating, and hopefully I'll see you again when our lessons begin. Thank you very much.